I would like to thank the Red Wings, honestly. Now that they're back to being a relevant franchise, the issue is it's relevancy for the exact wrong reasons you think of. They're relevant because they're in the conversation with the New York Jets. They're relevant because they're in the conversation with the Los Angeles Angels. They don't make the playoffs here, which 7% chance, 5% depending on where you look. They've got to win out, essentially. By the way, they could end up losing, being eliminated on Saturday. It's the earliest, Fan Appreciation Day at LCA. So if they do end up missing the playoffs, it's been a full decade of a playoff drought. Again, only the Angels and Jets have longer droughts in all of professional sports. All of professional sports, all 4 leagues. Only 2 teams have longer droughts than that. That's embarrassing, but I'd like to thank the Red Wings for at least, becoming a talking point again. It's better than them just sliding into the abyss 5 years, 6 years. Now they're so bad that it's a talking point. So thank you to the Red Wings for giving us topics and conversations to be had for us to complain about you as much as we're going to for the foreseeable future. This is insane, man. This was the 100-year anniversary of this team. They threw Hockey Town on the middle of center ice just to follow it up with this sort of game, this sort of, not game, but season. You got a place right across the arena called Hockey Town. That's what this place calls themselves. Stanley Town. That's the name of the Detroit Free Press thing right behind us when they won the Stanley Cup. And now, I don't even think we can call it anything. I mean, they're clearly the 3rd best team. It's not even close. All the other 3 teams are at least giving us something. Playoff hopes, aspirations, championships, banners. And then you have this joke of a franchise that's now become relevant for the completely wrong reasons. They've got a GM who's, I don't even blame this season specifically on Yzerman, but I mean, the plan clearly didn't work. I think he's a little out of touch with reality in terms of seeing what this team's flaws are. They clearly have them. He didn't want to address them ever. They've got a bunch of names on the team. DeBrincat, season or career high in points. DeBrincat's a small guy, though. What'd you do to support him, to protect him? You bring in enforcers? No, you didn't do any of that. You have Mo Seider. He's reliable. He's awesome. One of the best defensive players in all of hockey. It's not like he's some bruiser enforcer who you don't want to mess with. They don't have any of those guys on this team. I've been asking for this for years. Can we bring somebody in to this Red Wings roster that's a don't F with me guy? That's a, hey, don't fight us guy. If you want to pick beef with us, we are going to finish the job. They're bullyable. They get bullied and they don't have an answer to it. They get pushed around. They don't have an answer to it. There's too much finesse and not enough attitude. There's not enough tough guys on this team. I'm not calling the guys soft necessarily, but there's not the guys that are on the ice that you're genuinely afraid of messing with or afraid of messing with other players because that guy's coming to knock your head off. That doesn't exist on this hockey team, and it hasn't for years. That is incredibly frustrating. The names versus the players versus the production, I guess I should say. Patrick Kane, like a perfect example. Everybody knows Patrick Kane. Why would we not want Patrick Kane on the team? Maybe because there's better options, DeBrincat, love the dude. But you need to protect that guy. He scores a lot of points. You need to put big defensemen around him. And they only really have one great defenseman. Edvinson's fun too, but it's not like he's this big, giant enforcer guy. They don't have that. I don't know if this team has been poorly constructed or if there's just not enough attitude on this team. Look at the stars. Guys like Dylan Larkin, love the dude. Guys like Lucas Raymond, Mo Seider, good hockey players. Lack the alpha dog leadership. We're going to go knock somebody's teeth off. You want to know how I know that? Because they've fallen apart when they needed to win the most over the last 3 years. 3 consecutive years. There's a common denominator. These are the leaders of the team. For some reason, they can't rally the troops, give a motivational speech, get their players on the ice, and go kick ass and take names. They don't do it. That part of it's frustrating. You know how many fights they've been in since January? I looked this up last night. 6. They don't want to do it. They want it to come easy. They want to play 3-on-3. And they got into overtime last night and still didn't win. The most impressive part of the Red Wings season is the fact that Mo Seider has played 406 consecutive games to start his career, which is an NHL record. That's it. That's what the Red Wings have to hold on to right now, in addition to the fact that they've become irrelevant again because they're about to miss the playoffs for 10 consecutive years. Impressive to do.
It's crazy to think that that's the token of relevancy that we're giving to the Red Wings is they've become so irrelevant that they actually are relevant now.
Mm-hmm.
And we did the exercise yesterday going through all of the longest droughts in sports, playoff droughts, that is. And some of those teams that are at the top of those lists are just the scum of their leagues.
It's the Jets, it's the Angels, and it is the Red Wings. Those are your top 3 teams in terms of the droughts.
I mean, think about what we've done, what we have, not just you and I, but I'm just saying sports fans in general, people that follow sports. You know about the New York Jets. You know that they are the joke of the NFL, them and the Cleveland Browns. Everybody knows that. The Los Angeles Angels, I mean,
notoriously not able to do anything.
You want to talk about little brother to a team. I mean, we can make the Brooklyn Nets jokes and even the New York Jets jokes,
Michigan
Chicago
State
White
jokes.
Sox. Sure. The Los Angeles Dodgers versus the Anaheim Angels. I mean, it does not get more 180 than that.
Mm-hmm.
So
their
fact
star
that
player got so sick of losing that he just hopped across town to hop on the better team.
And they didn't make the playoffs with Ohtani and Trout. Are you kidding me?
Trout's,
the 2 best players of our generation, maybe?
Trout's been to the playoffs once.
One game.
One game.
Like, those are the 2 teams that are in now. The Red Wings are joining them in conversation. That is ridiculous. It's one of the more sad things. And the reason why it's so sad is because you mentioned this at the beginning. Like, all of the teams in Detroit have shown that they have life within the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. I know the Lions are probably like, they have taken a step back, but we know what the Lions did a couple years ago. Like, going to the NFC Championship game, following it up with being the 1 seed in the NFC. Like that, okay, boom, there's the Lions. The Pistons are going to be the 1 seed in the Eastern Conference right now. No one saw that coming this year. I don't think anybody did, and maybe they have a chance to compete for a championship. That is awesome. The Tigers have won back-to-back playoff series, or gone to the playoffs and won a series in back-to-back years. Sure, yeah, they're not up to the best start this season, but they've been a good team. Michigan just won the national championship in basketball. Like, all of these teams in the state, in the city, whatever you want to call it, have shown signs of life in recent years. And the Red Wings, who might be the most historic franchise of all of them.
Might.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Right. But I'm counting, like, even if you go Michigan this and that, like, everything. Red Wings might be the number 1 thing you can be most proud of in the state of Michigan is the team that is now in conversations with the New York Jets. Mm-hmm. That's what makes it so sad.
We're in dangerous territory. I noticed this growing up with just a horrendous Pistons team when it was 15 years of being completely irrelevant. All of a sudden, like, a lot of my peers, like, oh, I'm a Thunder fan. Why? I don't know. I just like them. I'm a Warriors fan. Why? I like Steph Curry. They didn't have any reason to like the Pistons. There was nothing you could sell to them. The Red Wings are, like, approaching a territory like that to where if they do end up hiring a GM who hits the reset button, I would advise against that, by the way. I think there's enough talent on this team to where you just have to, like, you got to bring in some tough guys and find an identity.
Advise against the everything, like the rebuild, or advise against a GM change?
No, I'm for a GM change. I'd advise against a full blow-up because it's not like this team has no talent, right? I feel like they just lack an identity. They lack a toughness. They lack a fear factor for other teams. No one fears this team at all. It's the team that if they do squeak into the playoffs, everybody's going to want to see. They've been that for years.
Clearly nobody fears them. Look at how they've lost the last 2 games.
Right. Right. Nobody fears this team. I'd be working around the edges. I think there's talented players on this team. They just don't have, somebody to rally the troops and get everyone fired up and want to go play with their sticks on fire. They don't have that. But what I was just saying was, like, we've got these teams in Detroit, and then we've got the Wings who have just separated themselves in terms of not just relevancy, but even expectation. And now you've got such long stretch of being bad that now you're in danger of, like, an entire generation growing up without ever seeing Wings playoff games. That's crazy. That's insane.
That really is insane.
Especially if they hit the blow-up button, because we know more so in the NHL than any other sport, it takes a long time to get to actually rebuild it back up. It takes a long time. If someone's going to come in and do that, all of a sudden you are messing around with a 15-year playoff drought.
That's unreal.
He's just shaking his head.
Yeah.
For anyone listening on the radio, Kyle's just in there with his head down, hands in his head. Just shaking it.
Man, I mean, I got to go from watching the Michigan Wolverines win a freaking national championship to whatever the hell happened last night with the Tigers in the Wings. I mean,
16 seconds.
talk about a terrible couple of days for your boys.
Just don't let them score for another 16 seconds, and we're talking about, do they have playoff life? They couldn't even do that. Andrew Kopp, how did you not score in overtime, man? 1-on-0 fast break. Not fast, whatever they call it in hockey. There's no one in front. It was you and the goalie. All you had to do was put the puck in the net. Nobody was there between you guys. Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it.
That's how passionate this guy is about sports, man. He went from spanking the desk yesterday to crashing out over the Red Wings the next day.
989-837-6125. This is the Ben Bosscher Show. We're live here on the Mitt. Bresky Siding and Building.